Hello and welcome to the Business Spotlight interview series. I'm your host Sonali Nigam, and today I'm joined by Stephan Hayward, Managing Director at Framework Design Agency. Hi, Stephan. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much. Would you like to kick us off with a brief background as to who you are and what you do?
Yes, yeah, of course. Yeah, as mentioned, I'm Stephan Hayward. I'm the managing director of Framework Design. We are a small agency based out in Nottingham, UK. We predominantly specialise in digital creative. We're currently working with a whole host of high range clients, ranging from Games Workshop, England Netball, the FA. We do highly disruptive, impressive work in a digital environment. I think 25 people, yeah, in a warm, sunny climate at the moment, it would appear.
Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. 10 years in the business, Stephan. So, what do you attribute your growth to?
So this is quite a tricky question because me and the two other business partners, none of us are conventional business people. We all got into the industry and worked at different agencies throughout our careers before we met and then set up the business. We were very much in love with the actual business itself, as in being able to create something, take ownership of that, and then look at that in legacy, looking at that as a historical thing. And I think it was the passion itself that forced us together as a group. And it's the thing that I believe attributes the growth and the success of the business over the last 10 years. Like, as much as people have changed, and often kind of culture changed within the business, even the metrics that you gauge success on change. The underpinning values of the passion part of it has never really changed. And if you were to rip everyone out of the company and leave the owners in there, that will be the heart of what we do. So yeah, I think fundamentally, as much as a lot of business people don't like talking about passion because
Right.
it helps you in the beginning stages. I think it's the core part of who we are, and why it's so important that we continue with that as a, like, when we renew our values in the future, that has to be a core part of what we do.
Right. Stefan, so during this journey, what has been your biggest learning as a business owner of the business running successfully? What would you say that?
Um, yeah, it's like, and I think this is a common one with a lot of business owners is that you often feel and you put a lot of trust in people, especially in the early days, and not that that changes, but the area in which you have to understand more and develop more as a business owner is how you manage, how you relate to, how you communicate with individuals as you go through that journey. So in the early stage of the business, everything's driven by culture and passion and energy. And especially in our case, we were very close to the coalface. So we were able to, as a business, as a group of owners, take a lot of responsibility for the culture of the business and how people interacted with that business. The minute you start stepping away from it, you have to then, what we learn and what every business learns is where you were quite open and honest and you trusted people, you have to start taking measures where you can give people stricter guidance,
Right.
and stricter rule sets. And for us, that was a huge difference because we're very typical individuals who don't like rules. Um,
Right.
we were we were the ones that got in trouble at school, because we were anti-conformist, and to then be the group of people that sits at the top and then has to not dictate, I don't like that word, but to inform and provide guidance in layers that people can understand for security purposes, for their own benefit and everything,
True.
is a
Yeah.
real learning curve. And
Uh-huh.
I've got friends who are business owners with big companies, and they often talk about the same thing. It's always people. It's that's the area, because your business can live and die by it. You get a group of people who are disenfranchised. They
Right.
can cut out large swathes of the business all at once. You have to be able to communicate with people on an even keel. There's so much, like, it's
Right.
that, like, doing the job is the easy bit. It genuinely is. Like, if you love it and you know what you're doing, it's really easy. It's
Right.
that human side that becomes treacherous if it's not done properly.
You've touched about an important aspect of any business. It's people. People are
Mm,
key to any sort of organization.
yeah.
So, what qualities do you look for in employees when you hire them? And how do you foster a positive and a productive work environment, if I can ask
Yeah,
that?
yeah. We've tried different tactics. We've tried it based on, ability and tests and fundamentally, like I just alluded to, it doesn't actually matter what you know. Like
Yeah.
it's so, especially in the agency world, like I've I, as I mentioned, I'd worked for a number of agencies before. In one
Yeah.
agency, I was top dog. Next agency I walked into felt like I was learning everything from scratch. And it's not often about what you know, it's about how you apply yourself. And so a lot of the questioning that we have for interviews isn't so much about your ability to do the job, but it's about how adaptable you are as a person and how how you challenge yourself, how you take on challenges, whether you crumble at the first sight that things are going wrong, or whether you see that I'm very much like a silver linings kind of guy. Like my house could be on fire, and I don't know, I've lost everything, but I'll look at it and go, oh, I get to move, and I think like it's that kind of attitude, especially when you're in a problem-solving environment, that is often the thing that makes people great. And so we try to it's an impossible thing to find in individuals deliberately. And you can ask a series of questions that hopefully get you to that point. But a lot of it is feeling whether intuitively you get that feeling from that person that they would be able to cope. And we've actually developed strategies post like accepting of a job to then understand someone as quickly as possible so that we can get to within 3 to 6 months understanding one, whether they can actually work for the business and whether they're going to be a valuable part of the team. And if they do have weaknesses, can we work with them to ensure that we can then help them develop their own skills so that they can work better in part of that business culture as well. So again, it's an evolution. We haven't got it right. I don't think many businesses do, but we I think the intent is we're trying to get it right. So yeah,
I think that is all what it matters.
yeah.
Uh, to try and be right and correct for your employees. I'm
Mm,
talking about it. During this journey of 10 years, I'm
mm,
sure you have encountered few of the challenges. So, if I talk about the challenges now, what are the
yeah.
challenges that you're facing currently, and how do you address them?
Um, so one of the biggest things, it actually goes back to people, is that we grew at steady rate for 10 years. We've actually year on year increased the workforce. And there's always this two steps forwards, one step back. And I think that happens as a matter of attrition, but also you sometimes get things wrong. You get the wrong individual in the post,
Yeah.
and that has a knock-on effect. Now, one of the areas of the business that we've decided that one area of the business that was generally underpinned by one type of individual needs to be split into two. And so we've employed a new senior individual to come in and take control of that. So it's a new learning curve for the whole system. The responsibilities are changing. We're calling them pillars. So we've got really good senior pillars across all of the other departments. This is an additional pillar that we're adding in, which offers us more stability internally. Um, and then once we've got that, and we feel very comfortable with that system working as we want it to work, then that will then help us then grow again. But at the moment, we've put the pause button on things just to make sure that we get that right, and we don't run into problems in the future. Right? Hopefully, that will catalyze us up to 30, 40, 50 in the future because we'll have that good senior management layer. But again, there's been probably 2, 3 years of me going to consultancies, speaking to business leaders and getting their thoughts on it that's kind of led us into a situation where we're doing that. It's very much, it's never, it's never a sprint. It's always a marathon, isn't it? It's like you can't change things overnight, even though you
True.
can as a business owner. That's the irony. But it's better to do like really think it out, strategize it all, like do something deliberate. If it goes well, great. If it goes wrong, just analyze it and go, oh, okay, we probably could have done this better. Be open and transparent about it, and then look to do it again. Um, yeah, it's constant. That's the only thing. But that's the thing at the moment that we're concentrating on.
Interesting, Stephan. So, talking about it, and we've addressed the challenges, we've talked about
Mm.
various aspects. Where do you see yourself in next 5 years, as in terms of business?
Oh wow. Yeah, that's I'm a great believer in the go to the moon premise. Um and and I think it's something like from day one in the business it was a case of we are going to be here. Like and it's never been measured by people or money. But it's been always about kind of what that creative output would be. And um we did something last year, which was as a child the thing I always wanted to do. So I got to work on that, and it was I was a massive nerd as a kid. I still am. I still am a massive nerd. Um, and for my crimes and just the way I was brought up, my father was in the army. I ended up going to boarding school. So I was at boarding school from the age of 6 in the UK, while my parents lived in places like Hong Kong and
Oh my
Germany.
God.
And
Yeah.
I was quite a lonely child, so I took up Games Workshop, and so I worked. I used to paint the miniatures when I was a teenager,
Wow.
and it got me through. It got me through some challenging times as a kid. I'll say that, and it's something that as an adult I don't do it anymore. But my 13-year-old took it up recently. I still listen to the audiobooks when I'm on long drives. So the ability to be able to work with them and to do something very meaningful. We're under NDA in terms of the work that we do, but it's a big part of what they do from a
Uh-huh.
digital standpoint was huge for me, and actually got me questioning. Like from a career perspective, I was actually going, where do I go now? Like this is weird. It's kind of you've aimed for the moon, you hit the moon. So a lot of it for the next 5 years is understanding that actually what I wanted to do wasn't necessarily to do that one thing. It was actually to work with brands like that who were, challengers, disruptors. So, and there's always a new one. There's always someone else. And so it's pivoting a little bit from the original. It's like that I want to date so and so. Like that actually doesn't work because you end up marrying that person. But but you know what I mean? Is very much kind of like it's pivoting a little bit and going, well, yeah, I've learned a lot from that experience, and now what I want to do is be able to work with, you know, exciting brands, whether that's a games company, whether that's a sports company, or just an SME who wants to do something awesome. And that's my thing. Is very much the next 5 years is building on that and helping other people learn from the experiences I have.
I'm sure they will. And I love the way that you've added the personal touch in it when you talked about your 13-year-old also picking things just like what you did. So, talking
Yeah.
about your personal aspect now,
Mm.
how do you strike the perfect balance between your personal life and the professional one? I
Um,
mean, what's that key? We would love to know.
there is no key. It's really. I'll be totally honest. It's a lot. I know a lot of people that really do struggle with it, and I've got friends who are in similar situations to me who are flying across the world, and don't see their family for weeks on end. But when they come back, they just drop all work and then spend 4 or 5 days with them. I'm in a totally different situation. I've got a 6-year-old who's quite heavily disabled, who's got something called Kepper-Feld syndrome, who subsequently is non-verbal, highly autistic, um, and just a day is a struggle. Like even it's like me and my wife, we've had a lot of challenges over the last 6 years because of Hetty. But what it's meant is that I've been able to manage my work so that I can still bring myself to work, like do my 50 hours a week, but I'm there at 6 o'clock every day. I'm there on the weekends, and we spend that time together as a family. But it means that my sacrifice is I don't sleep as much as I might want. So my day will start at 5 a.m. and I'll get to work as early as I can so that it builds the time in the rest of the week for me. And okay, I might go to bed a bit earlier than most, but what am I doing? Missing out on a bit of Netflix? It's not the end of the world. Some people can't function to do that, but I've had to shift my life so that I can fit everything in. and prioritize the things that are important to me.
Thank you for your honesty, I must say.
That's
Uh,
okay.
and I really like the way that you were so open and honest about your life in general and how you
Mm.
manage your time. So it's quite
Mm.
inspirational. Uh, and I'm sure our audience have learned and picked up so many things. So is there any closing remark or a golden nugget that you would like to share with the audience before we wrap up?
Um, yeah, yeah. One little thing, because I've done a lot of I've done a lot of communications with business owners, and I think they get caught up in the details a bit too much. Is that for me what the golden rule was: do what you love, and the rest is easy. Like it's like I was very lucky to fall into an industry that I was obsessed with as a kid, and that's like when it gets hard, that's the thing that gets you out of it. It's like I always I'm trying to see it from other frames of reference and going, well, what happens if I owned a company like this? I don't think I could have succeeded as an individual if I was doing something like that. So it's so if the thing brings you joy, then everything else becomes a lot easier to manage. If you're doing it for the wrong reasons, like if that thing is money, that's fine, but that's just not
True.
who I am. But if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, then it's about finding the right reason.
Thank you so much, Stephan, for your time today. It was
Okay.
great knowing your journey, and I think I had great learnings as well. And I'm sure our
Hmm.
audience have it too. So thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah,
Uh,
pleasure.
to everyone watching, I look forward to see you in my next episode. Thank you so much.